We've asked just about everybody. I've asked Bowie Kuhn, I've asked Warren Giles, I've asked some of the announcers that follow the league, I've asked a lot of ball players, and I'll ask you, what's wrong with the Cardinals?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they're getting that good pitching that they got last year. And as you know, the third, fourth, and fifth hitter is not knocking in a lot of runs. I mean, Shannon and Pinson has been hurt, and I think that's going to hurt you. They expect a lot out of Veda. Veda's a good ball player. He's a good player. He was a good player with Cincinnati, and he'll do a good job over here. But he hasn't got started yet. And if you don't score a lot of runs, you're not going to win many games.
They haven't been doing that, of course. On the road, they've been playing reasonably well, but they've been just well, for lack of a better word, absurd at home. And have you ever seen this kind of a thing happen before? Few people that I've ever talked to have. Usually, you're weakest on the road.
Well, baseball is a funny game, Ron. As you know, to take our ball club, for instance, we were struggling right around 100, 500, 200, 500. We get up to one below again. We drop a couple more. And now we're on a 9-game winning streak. So you never know. The Cardinals got a good ball club. They got good personnel and good management. And I wouldn't give up on them because it's a long summer yet.
Pete, you led the National League. In fact, you led the major leagues in hitting in 1968. You're not hitting as well in average as you did last year, but there's a lot more hitting in the major leagues generally. What's the reason? Is it the lower mound? Is it expansion?
I don't know. Personally, I'm usually a late starter. I don't get started the first couple months of the season. But I think the reason the first month has been so many more runs scored is the fact that the pitchers were all 2 weeks late to spring training. I think the pitchers are going to catch up with the hitters. In the past, the pitchers always seem to be ahead of the hitters the first month of the season. But because of the players' strike and everything, I don't think all the pitchers got enough spring training as they needed.
Do you think the expansion maybe watered down the talent to the point that some people are going to hit a little higher because of it?
Well, the expansion, I think, has. But you take me, for instance. I won the batting title last year, hitting 288 this year, and I'm about 4 for 20 against San Diego, so I can't say too much bad about the expansion teams. But I think last year the reason the hitting was down is the fact that New York and Houston pitching staffs caught up to par with the rest of the league. I mean, you'd go into New York and see Seaver and Kuzman and Nolan Ryan and Cardwell, and go down to Atlanta or go down to Houston and see Durker and Wilson and LeMaster and Justy. Those fellows are good pitchers, and I think that's why the hitting was off last year.
Pete, frankly, you're known as Charlie Hustle. You're a guy that runs everywhere. You run to first base on a base on ball. You run in and out. You literally run everywhere. I know you've been accused of being a little bit phony at times, but I think by this point everybody realizes it isn't. Do you think maybe not enough ball players in this game hustle?
Well, I just think I don't even look at it as hustle. I just love to play baseball, and I'm just fortunate the man upstairs that I have the tools that can play baseball, and we enjoy doing something like I enjoy playing baseball. It's just much easier to be running around. Just like you're an announcer and you enjoy it, that's why you're a good one. I mean, it's easy to play baseball. It's just when you get paid good money for playing baseball, it's just great.
But there are those a lot of people say not enough guys in this game hustle nearly enough.
Well, they're not going to get what they can get out of baseball. You can get a lot out of baseball. You're only going to get out of baseball what you put into it. You got to put 110% in it because there's guys playing against you giving 100%.
Do you think that there are people who are not putting out as much as they could?
In any profession, you got guys like that. But this ball club right now, everybody on our team is giving 110%, and that's why we're on a winning streak like we are. But you're going to find different personalities and different guys in every phase of it.
Pete, one time you were a great second baseman. I know you played 4 or 5 positions in recent years. Now you're in center field. Do you miss the infield?
Well, I just try to help the ball club, and wherever Dave Bristol wants me to play, I'll play. This is my 5th straight year at a different position. I played second base a couple of years. I played third base, left field, last year right field, and this year center field. And I would prefer playing the outfield because you don't have to worry so much about making a double play and covering second on a steal and getting your 5 to 10 minutes of ground balls every day. You'd be surprised. You got to give them infielders a lot of credit. It's tough to go out there every day and take 10 minutes of ground balls in the hot sun, and it gets to you in the summer's time, believe me.
So playing the outfield, you can concentrate more on the stick, on
that's
hitting.
Right, and that's good if you're hitting, but it's bad if you're not hitting. I tell you, I just like to give you have to give a guy like Mike Shannon a lot of credit in this game. Take me, for instance. It's a lot harder to come from the outfield into the infield than just go from the infield to the outfield. That's why I got to give a guy like Mike Shannon a lot of credit. It's really tough. You're playing 300 feet away from hitters, and all of a sudden he's playing 60 feet away from him. It's pretty tough, and he's doing a good job. So it's much harder to come in than it is to go out, I'd say.
Pete, last year Bob Gibson won the Most Valuable Player Award in the National League, and it was something of a give and take. I know in the newspapers about you wondering whether Gibson should have been Most Valuable Player. You thought maybe you should have gotten the award. Could you straighten that out for us?
I got a call from a New York reporter, and I could tell that he had a story in the back of his head. And the first thing I said to him was I couldn't have picked a better guy to finish second, too. And that's the way I feel. I'm not one of these guys that's going to say a pitcher doesn't deserve the most valuable player, because if he does, he should get it. I know a pitcher only plays once every 4 or 5 days, but when you got a guy like Gibson going out there and doing a job he's doing, and he did deserve the most valuable player last year, as did Denny McLean. So I was just happy to finish second, and I still, in my mind, felt I was the most valuable player as far as players, because I was second, he was a pitcher.
So you think that maybe the players should not be eligible? They do get the Cy Young Award.
Well, like I just said, I think if they deserve it, they should get it. And I think he did deserve it last year, and it's pretty tough to finish fourth and be a most valuable player, and that's where our team finished.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Normally you have to
They
win
won
it.
the pennant, and I thought they was going to win the World Series, but that's in the past. But he did deserve it. I'd say he's about the best competitor in this league.
First, the way the Cardinals ran away with the pennant last year, one of the most exciting things coming down to the end was your race for the batting title with Matty Alou. And I recall on the second last day of the season, I believe, Matty went 4 for 4, and Pete Rose goes 5 for 5. And I guess this was quite a thrill for you.
That was a real funny experience. I went into Pittsburgh with about 6-7 games to go with about a 12-point lead, and I think I went 1 for 12, and he must have got 8 for 12. And we played a weekend series with the Giants, and he went to Chicago for the final weekend series. And I went 1 for 7 on a Friday night, and he went 0 for 4. So the Saturday game, I went in with about a 1-point lead, and I got a 5 for 5, and he got a 4 for 4. And when I had the 5 for 5, I didn't know at the time he was 4 for 4, so I thought I had it wiped. I thought I had it won, but they told me he was 4 for 4, so that meant another night without sleep. But the first time up the next day, I got a double, and I got 1 for 3, and he went 0 for 4 that day, so I ended up winning by 3 points.
It's quite a thrill for you, I guess, wasn't it?
Oh, to beat a guy like that out there, he's hitting 350 or 60 right now. He's a tremendous hitter, and there's another guy you got to give a lot of credit to. I mean, there's a lot of guys can run as fast as he can, but he works on hitting the ball into the ground and bunting, and he hits 300 every year, 330 every year.
Yeah, that's right, 330. Pete, we appreciate the opportunity to talk to you here, and we always have liked Pete Rose. Frankly, we had never met before this show, but we've always enjoyed seeing you play, and about the only thing we can say is keep hustling.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to someone that likes baseball.
And as being our guest on the show, we want to give you this certificate for a Boulevard Ackerchon watch from the Diamond Shop at 720 Locust here in St. Louis. And Pete, good luck to you and the Reds in '69, except in Busch Stadium. Take it a little easy, will you?
Okay.